Hello, and welcome to Start, Build, Thrive, where you can unleash creativity. Today, I want to talk about a simple activity you can use to introduce young kids to artificial intelligence, in particular, generative artificial intelligence. So, what is the difference between artificial intelligence and generative artificial intelligence? Well, even experts don't have one definition that they all agree to. But there are some commonalities between what different people say when they define artificial intelligence. So, for example, a simple definition is any machine that mimics human activity or human thought. That is one definition. And when you think about what kids might say, when they define artificial intelligence, they may say something like a robot. Because when you think about a object or an item or a machine that mimics human behavior, well, a robot in many cases, particularly those that young people may be introduced to, whether it be through cartoons or other types of animation, even in real life circumstances, that may be the first thing they think of. So just keep in mind when you are asking students to define artificial intelligence, it may be related to something like robots. And it's important to say, like, even if you use a simple definition of a machine that is programmed to mimic human behavior, or a machine that acts like a robot, or a system that is programmed or designed to act like humans, there is no one set definition, and all of those things do capture what artificial intelligence is in some ways. Now, the difference is that sometimes when we think of generative AI, that these are different things, like you may have heard of large language models and chatbots, where you enter in some type of text and the output is a type of, could be sentences, it could be images, and now more, as it has advanced, generative AI can even create videos. And so there are many things that generative AI can do. One of the exciting things about generative AI, at least for me, is that it's math, right? Generative AI and artificial intelligence systems in general are not alive. They're not sentient. They can't really think. They are programmed to appear that they're thinking. And so this is an important distinction that we want our young kids to know, even from the start of their learning experiences and interactions with artificial intelligence. The other thing that I want to mention is that artificial intelligence in the term is a kind of overarching term that encompasses many different types of systems. So, for example, you may hear of computer vision. You may hear of large language models. You may hear of generative AI. You may hear of machine learning and deep learning and neural networks and all of these different types of terms. And those are not in and of themselves AI, they are components of AI. Because when you think about it, does a system that processes information to create language, does that naturally mimic human behavior or human action? No. So natural language processing may not be under artificial intelligence itself, but it is a component of artificial intelligence. And so that's another big distinction that we want to make. So what does this mean for an activity that helps students learn about artificial intelligence and as well generative AI, and what is the human's role in the process? So this is a really simple activity. And for this simple activity, you're only going to need like a paper plate and you're going to need a marker. And that's it, right? And there are going to be some instructions and an image at the end that you'll be able to find in the comments that you choose to use this. And the great thing about this activity is not only is it accessible for young students, but it's great for adults as well. And so I'm happy to share it. I've used it for over 1,000 teachers and educators, and I've received the same response. I know that there are multiple teachers who have used this in their interaction, and educators and education leaders. So this is a activity that you can use, and it really does work to help introduce the concept of artificial intelligence and generative artificial intelligence to students, young people, more seasoned people. Anyone you want to use this activity for will benefit. So, what are we going to do with this simple paper plate? And it can be different sizes. I just wanted a small one to fit within the screen here today. And so we're going to draw a face. And so when you think about a paper plate and a face, what are we going to start with? So we're going to start with 2 eyes. And I have to tell you that drawing is not my skill, but that's okay, because this is not about being the best at or a expert at art. It's about having fun and learning. And so I have my 2 eyes. And so the next thing you're going to do is draw a nose. So I have a nose. And then finally, you are going to draw a mouth. So this is where I get a little bit messed up. Okay, so I have my plate. Sometimes, you'll have different decorations. You can use different colors of markers. And then what I ask, whether it's kids or whether it's adults, I say, hold up your plates. And I love to take pictures. And if you go to my web page on Muon Global, you will see one of the image where I have participants who do this activity hold up the plate. Some people hold it in front of their faces. And so this is a great part of the activity, because what I ask people to do then is to say, look at your neighbor's paper plates, their paper faces, and tell me what you think. And this is important because one of the great things that we can do is, even with this simple paper plate, we can spark discussions about patterns, about connections that we see even with this simple drawings. And so it's great to ask the question, and it's great to engage young people, educators, anyone who's doing this activity on what did they see? What did they notice? What did they wonder? We all know those great questions. But discussion really does spark critical thinking, and it also sparks connection and communication. And those are skills that our students really need to cultivate as they learn and grow in this age of artificial intelligence. So the next thing I ask people to do is think about, if we took all of your plates with all of your different designs and we programmed a artificial intelligence system to generate a paper plate with a face, what do you think would happen? And so that's the next kind of sparking the discussions, what'll happen, kind of getting into generative AI and how it works. And the final thing that I say is that it should be so simple that any generative AI would be able to produce a paper plate with a face image given the same set of instructions. And guess what? I took a picture of an LLM. Well, I put those instructions in, and it's missing a nose, the image that's generated. And this sparks the final part of this lesson. So we've gone through, We've talked about what AI is, how it differs from generative AI, and how we can use language and text to prompt an AI system, a generative AI system, to output a certain design based on the parameters that we've set in terms of a prompt. But we're always going to need a human in the loop to check to ensure that the output is correct. Because if not, we may end up without a nose. It is a perfect introduction to how generative artificial intelligence works, but it also can allow you to distinguish between generative AI and other types of AI systems. So I hope that you can start with this activity, build a foundation of AI literacy, and thrive in the age of artificial intelligence. Thank you for visiting Start, Build, Thrive, where you can unleash creativity.